Gonzo on the restart. Weaves his way, fires and scores.
We're going to attack, coming middle, trying to free himself
up, shot, score. Gets around Weed, off the bounce, shot, and a score. Wow. Levine with some speed. Levine fakes a pass. Levine all the way is going to fire and score.
Up top, Druin.
He wants a shot, and he's got it. Wow.
Meanwhile, Arbusto, one-handed shot is up and in. Got a penalty flag down.
Skip pass sets up Gabord, and it's time to pluck a chicken.
Got a good one-handed scoop up.
Roy, and then he lights the lamp. Lowers that left shoulder and fires up the Cougar fans. Look at this.
Nice play.
Fake shot by Brunzik, and then he drills it on his way to the ground.
Chase, extra feed,
Shot, score, game over.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome here to Bedford.
Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you, getting set for the 2025 NHIAA Boys Lacrosse Division II semifinal between top seed and undefeated Derryfield versus Red Hot St. Thomas. Earlier tonight, the defending champion Portsmouth Clippers advanced with a blowout win over Winnicunnet to Saturday's state championship round. These two teams hoping to join the Clippers for a chance to dethrone Portsmouth. Already, one regular season matchup between the Saints and Cougars occurred. That was back on May the 21st at St. Thomas. It was a one-goal victory for head coach Chris Hetler's Cougars. 11-10 was the final. The one-goal games, that's been a theme for head coach Scott Singer's St. Thomas Saints. They've been involved in Rogers 7. One-goal games, they've won 3 of the 7, including a quarterfinal victory on the road at Hollis Brookline. They beat Lears by a score of 9-8.
Yeah.
These two teams, familiar with one another from both the club circuit and from the Division II regular season. And as I mentioned, Derryfield just slipped past St. Thomas on the road with that 11-10 win nearly a month ago. So anything goes here in this one. Derryfield hoping to return to the state championship for the 4th straight season.
Yeah, let's talk about St. Thomas here for a second. You bring up a good point, and it's one of the things I want to bring to light. And that is, we're coming up short here on time, but with those one-goal wins, if you turn those around and turn them into wins, they could have very well been the 1st or 2nd seed if they had knocked off Derryfield in that game. So let's not let that go too far out of mind. But I guess we're going to take a break here, and we're going to do the national anthem here again for a second time.
I believe we have announcements first.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, let's chat a little bit here, folks.
I think they're going to announce the starters. Meanwhile, crowd continuing to file in. The sun starting to go down. It's cooling off a little bit, but temperatures still in the mid-70s here. It's been stifling by southern New Hampshire standards anyway.
Well, this announcer is dreaming about days like this in the middle of February and actually in the middle of May, too, during that disaster of a weather month we had. But let's talk about Derryfield in that St. Thomas game. 11-10 loss to the Cougars, as you said. But looking at the Derryfield defense, they have been so dominant for so long, and they have scored a multiple of games, in double figures. In fact, they only had 2 games where they had less than double-figure stats on the offensive side. But that game was the second time all season that Derryfield gave up more than 9 goals. Okay, and actually they only had 2 events this season where they gave up 10. One to Goffstown very, very early, second game of the season, and then that St. Thomas game. So that was a battle between those two teams, and I expect the same thing tonight. Admittedly, don't know a lot about the St. Thomas team. What I do know is from what I've heard and what I've followed through the podcast and some of the writings out there. But both teams have got potent people on their rosters. We'll start with the 2-headed monster of Derryfield with R.J. Prue and Brady Daldo.
Yeah.
And then go to the 3 seniors that are the bulk and the heavy lifting on the Saints side, which is Jackson Estes, on midfield, Finley DeTola on midfield, and Aiden Morrison on attack, which there was some kidding going around about how dominant a hand he has between Coach Hetler and Joe Marchaleta on the podcast this past week. And, he's apparently a really, really good goal scorer, and we'll have to be watching those three players for the Saints tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned Estes. He's the senior. He's the lone captain, and he's a college commit on his way to Bryant University. On the other side for Derryfield, R.J. Prue is committed to Union, and his classmate, fellow senior Brady Doldo, is Colorado Boulder bound.
Yeah, and I just talked to Joe Doldo, Brady's father. They're Bedford folks, known them for a while, and he's going there for really academics. They do not have a division ranked team. They have a very good club team from what I follow through with UNH and the MCLA program. So his dad's at least hoping that all these years, to tournaments and early morning practices and all that stuff materialize for him, and I hope he stays in it. And more often than not, I talk to young people that go off to college and either finish their career or decide that high school is the end for them, that they do end up somehow getting back into the game.
There's a look at the Portsmouth team. They rolled earlier today over Winnicott 11-2. They punched their ticket to the state championship round for the 5th straight time. And
love the fact that they hung around. Yeah. They all got something to eat. I've met a couple of them over at the snack bar there, and very polite, very gentlemanly, well behaved as you would expect. By Coach Vish, and maybe they're doing a little lurking as
sure.
well.
Yeah, trying to scout both these very talented teams. Of course, Derryfield played Portsmouth way back in I think late April. That was a 1-goal game. And the only other team to come close, a 1-goal margin, was St. Thomas.
St. Thomas.
We talked about. Back on May the 21st. That was an 11-10 Derryfield win. A lot of success over the course of the seasons, course of the years under Derryfield head coach Chris Hetler. 7 state championships, 5 of those at the D2 level, the first 2 in Division III. St. Thomas, a couple of trophies in their case from back in 2006 and 2007 under head coach Barry Katz. Let's step aside now for the national anthem.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com. The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. The New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Here we go.
The national anthem setting the stage here in Bedford. We're live from Bulldog Stadium. Nick Anastas along with Roger Howe and the rest of our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire crew. We're broadcasting, of course, in conjunction with the NFHS network. Break it down for us, Roger, while we have a moment. What do we look for? Give us some keys both ways as we get set for Derryfield and St. Thomas.
Well, I think if you're Coach Singer, you want to key in on Brady Daldo, okay? Obviously, this offensive power that the Cougars have had all season long is something you got to contend with, and how are you going to match up to the likes of that offense. But Brady Daldo is one of those guys, and we use the phrase maybe too commonly, the Swiss Army knife. Here's a guy that he comes out on long pole, comes out on faceoffs, comes back out on offense with a short stick, is seamless when he does that. And Coach Hetler has had nothing but praise for this young man for the last couple of years, and has gone as far as saying he is the one that he has coached that is really the only one that has been able to do that as well as he has done it. So let's put it that way. The Saints have got to find a way, I think, in this game to get up early and try and lock things down with at least a 2 or 3 goal span, and don't let Derryfield go on those runs that they're famous for doing.
Yeah. Both teams a little bit on the younger side. Only 6 seniors for St. Thomas, 5 for Derryfield. So that kind of theme of the underclassmen contributions we've seen from other teams throughout all 3 divisions continues here in this semifinal matchup.
Yeah, and I don't know so much about, let me back up. Derryfield is drawing from a wide range, obviously, and St. Thomas having a little bit more knowledge about what they do over on the Seacoast area. They are pulling from the Cochico program, from the Seacoast program, and those programs are feeding programs like Winnicott and Portsmouth too.
Right.
So there's some of your talent that's going up to the private school level at St. Thomas. And that's why they have been consistently good all these years as Derryfield, BG, and some of those other teams.
We've got a good crowd here at Bulldog Stadium as we get set for the opening face-off. 72 degrees and a clean win at X for Davin Pintorelli. Gives the Saints the opening possession. The number 5 seed St. Thomas in their road navy blues with looks like silver helmets.
Love it.
Pretty sharp look.
Love it.
And, of course, Derryfield looking good as well in their home whites with the maroon lettering and maroon helmets.
Love the numbers that we can actually see.
Yeah, nice and big.
Old guys like us, or at least me.
All right. St. Thomas going to go behind the cage for the first time, but very briefly, as Jackson Estes, one of the players to watch, gets his first touch. He's going to jog now behind the cage himself. He's got a one-on-one with the long pole, Dan Roy.
Nice stack.
Gets inside. Roy turns the corner and lights the lamp. Jackson Estes, the Bryant commit. A nice one-on-one move to make it 1-0 with just 50 seconds gone by.
Well, just as I said, this is the start that St. Thomas really needs to have, and I love the invert they do with him at midfield. Pretty simple play. Nothing much there, and he just eats up the defender there. Gets a good step on him right behind X.
Pintorelli trying to box out for St. Thomas, but he can't win his second straight. As the faceoff does end up with Derryfield.
There's RJ coming right out of the box.
First touch for the Cougars.
Yeah.
Minute gone, they trail 1-0. Derryfield undefeated, a perfect 17-0 during the regular season. They kept a good Oyster River team at arm's length. In the quarterfinal, 14-8 was the victory.
So, Nick, real quick note here. Look at right here on the near side. You got Brady Daldo with a long pole on the offensive side of the field.
Yep. As we know, he's versatile. Meanwhile, a little shake and bake as R.J. Prue draws a slide. The shot goes off the side iron.
There we
And
go.
the score remains 1-0. Jake Moore, the goaltender. Nice outlet pass. Completes the clear. Up the near sideline for Aiden Molt, the junior. Now the second possession for St. Thomas, hoping to result in another goal. 1-0, 2 minutes gone by. The Saints, the number 5 seed, in control early.
Yeah, could have been a 1-1 game there real quick, except for the iron that RJ hit. And he likes to be in that slot, too. So watch him slither down on that far side.
Meanwhile, Aiden Morrison One of the aforementioned seniors fires a shot from straight away. No problem there for Liam England, sophomore goaltender. Really been a fan favorite, so to speak, of head coach Chris Hetler, a former goaltender himself. He's had a lot of praise for England. England going to help out on the clear, and a couple of passes later, the ball ends up over midfield.
Boy, yeah, that was a nice clear.
Derryfield going to slow things down. It's Coach Hetler trying to get his personnel in place. Meanwhile, Scott Singer on the visitor sideline at the head of the St. Thomas program for the last several seasons. Seems like, Roger, they've gradually gotten more and more competitive as they look to make another trip to the championship round, but this would be the first time since 2012.
Yeah, and I mean it's hard to see success right out of the gate when you're making a complete culture change. That coaching tree out there, as you mentioned, Barry Katz there for a number of years, a long time, good legacy behind him in his coaching tree. Bang!
Step down shot from straight away. Brady Doldo is going to tie the game at 1. Well, it seemed like Roger had plenty of room on that step down there. Was there a little miscommunication defensively?
I don't know. Let's see what's going on up there because they came out and pressed, but he's shooting for 15 yards out. I mean, that's got to be not really a defensive collapse. You got to have a goalie that's keyed in on that. He may have gotten screened, perhaps, the way that that defender came up quick on him. But, yeah, I don't really see what
didn't expect him to pull the trigger from that deep.
No, we see that a lot in the last couple of games at least.
Jack Hatfield, sophomore face-off man for Derryfield, wins it cleanly here to give his club a chance to take their first lead with 3.5 gone by in this opening quarter.
And we saw that, or I saw that in the Merrimack-Exeter game. Alex Scott shooting late in that game from the same spot, just unexpectedly getting that goal. And I think someone from Pinkerton last night did the same thing late. And
yeah, you referenced that D1 semifinal matchup that was won by Pinkerton. They're going to take on defending champion Bishop Girton after the Cardinals knocked off Bedford by a final score of 12-8.
Yeah, actually, now that I think of it, it was Wilbur and Ethan Kahn that let very similar goals go in there from that kind of distance, and I think it's just catching the goaltender off guard.
Meanwhile, around the horn it goes as Derryfield plays the long game here. Now over 4 minutes gone by in this opening frame. Behind the cage, Ryan Maxwell, sophomore, sets it up top, but no shot. And now Daldo steps to his right. That shot won't get through either. Went off the back, I believe, of a defender.
Edgerly took it square between the blades.
That allows Ryan Stoner, the junior, to come up with the ground ball for the Saints. He escorts it over midfield. Now St. Thomas back on the offensive attack with nearly 5 minutes gone by.
Yeah, the only good news there for Edgerly was that it wasn't Brady and his long pole. Would have hurt even more.
Here's a touch for Finley Detola. You mentioned his name in the pregame on the preseason All-State watch list. He's got an open man, but it'll duck by Morrison, double teamed, and the ball comes out. Saints are there, though, as Garrett Aceto, unchallenged near midfield, retrieves the ground ball. Now Estes, already a goal to his credit. Good shot there from a tough angle sent back by England, his second save.
Yeah, in England, he was watching the scout on this because he hugged that post and really held his ground nicely.
This pass is tipped. Controlled, though, by the long pole, Dan Roy. Roy is in trouble here near side. We get a whistle and I think a timeout from Coach Hetler.
Wow. Because I was watching the official, Steve Kirkpatrick, on this near side, and he had the padded hand on the top of the head, signaling he was about to whistle that for failure to advance. So good timing by Coach Hetler. Yeah. And, I mean, he's on the other side of the field, too. And we could plainly see where the ball was going out of bounds. But
we get a look at that replay there. Roy being harassed from behind by Garrett Aceto.
So we didn't have a frame there, but almost saw that happen with the call from the official.
Yeah. But Coach Hetler steps in and saves the possession for Derryfield. First timeout either way. Of course, the Cougars, they were Division II state champs just 2 years ago. They prevailed over Portsmouth in overtime. You and I were on the call. Last year in the rematch, Portsmouth was able to down Derryfield to recapture the crown. All in all, Portsmouth has won 3 of the last 4. They'll have a chance on Saturday to make it 4 out of the last 5. Derryfield, though, got a little bit of a streak going of their own. They were runners-up in 22, the aforementioned win in 23, second place last year as well. A win today would put them in the final round for the 4th straight season.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, you and I have been doing these broadcasts for 5 years now, and I can't remember a Derryfield-Portsmouth game, and I think we've done at least one every year, that has not just been an all-out battle.
Yep.
All-out battle.
Usually a one-goal game.
Yeah.
As we saw earlier in the regular season when Derryfield won at Portsmouth by a final score of 7-6.
Yeah.
All right, out of the timeout. Good split dodge to get the clear. Derryfield looking for their first lead here as we hit the midway point first quarter. Shadows growing really long here as the sun begins to set. Bottom of the 7 o'clock hour here locally. Near side, Doldo. He's got the early Derryfield goal. If you're just joining us, St. Thomas struck first. Inside of the first minute of the game, Jackson Estes, the senior, lit the lamp. Doldo came back very quickly after to tie the game.
Very similar set right now to what Pinkerton runs in that 1-4 with a crashing, cutting midfielder from the top.
2 men now behind the cage. Prue examines, surveys, and feeds the wing.
I like what they're doing with Saccone up here as well, putting him down and out on that wing with Brady on the far wing, or excuse me, the near wing here. But a lot of movement.
Yeah. Rodriguez, the long pole defender. And we go back to the top now for Heath Mueller. One of several freshmen playing at the varsity level for Coach Hetler. Inside of 5 minutes first quarter.
This might be a good match here for RJ.
It's Rodriguez giving him plenty of room. Goal line extended far side. Underhand feed. Ends up behind the cage for Maxwell. Long pole closing the gap is Gavin Canty, sophomore for St. Thomas. We go back to the top with Derryfield.
Yeah, kind of a boring possession here. I don't know what they're looking for, but
an extended possession for sure.
They're in a tight zone here. Now they're going to press, get a little bit of rotation.
Around the horn again. Far wing, Prue going to backtrack. Given room by the defender, Aiden Molt.
Oh.
Ball's out. Recovered by Prue, but now 2 defenders in the area. Molt really on his back. And now Mueller straight away. Feeds near side. Maxwell looking. No cutters. Going to skip it. Prue fakes the shot. Dances left. Goes back door. He's got a man, but it's denied. I believe the goaltender made the stop. Jake Moore, if so, it's his first save, and the Saints come the other way.
Oh. Good clear.
It's Molt, the defender. Able to get it across, and now the Saints on attack. Going to slow things down with the game still tied at 1 as we move towards 3 minutes to go first quarter.
Yeah, I think the Cougars just feeling out that zone defense to see if they could find a seam, and that little scuffle on that far side created some confusion with the Saints getting back into their 3-3 and thus the shot.
Meanwhile, both attack units taking the patient approach here, at least out of the gate. Does that favor one team or the other, Roger?
Well, I'd like to say yes for both teams, but certainly the zone was a way of testing the offense of Derryfield. They're just not sure what the Saints are trying to do here.
And that's a long shot from Detola and tracked down by the goaltender Liam England. Makes his 3rd save. Long pass up the field, nobody home on the other end. Taken away by the long pole, Cooper Copeland. Good play for St. Thomas as they look to work now out of their own end with a long pass.
We'll take it.
Taken by Acito. Acito looking to push the issue. The trailer comes into the play. That's Detola. Nothing cooking up top. The Saints will hit the reset button as we move towards 2 minutes to go in this first quarter.
Yeah, so far from what I've seen out of St. Thomas, good skill level, all starting 10 out there. Not really any weaknesses as far as I can see on the stick handling and the passing and that sort of thing. The hustle's there. See what they can do with some set offense here.
Estes wants to come downhill, looks for a screen, comes up top, and again retreats towards midfield. You can hear Coach Singer trying to direct traffic from the visitor sideline. He gives Estes the green light, and it pays off. Oh, no, that shot ended up on the side of the netting. Looked like it was good initially. Game stays tied at 1. And Derryfield gets a nice clear up the middle via the senior Logan Dyer, one of the captains. Now out in front. A restricted shot there for Sassoni. Sophomore couldn't get his arms free from straight away. Shot ends up wide, but Derryfield keeps it in play and keeps it at this end with 90 seconds to go.
Yeah, good double up by the Saints defense. Really hung him out to dry with his hands. He could not get his hands free at all. Got something weak off.
Otherwise, perhaps a goal there from point-blank range.
Yeah. We've talked about Ciccone before. He's a good, fast lacrosse player. He can find his openings out there.
Final minute, first quarter. Game tied at 1. It's been a defensive effort so far. Meanwhile, Prue looks back up top for Maxwell. He's got room. Back to Prue near side. Left-hand shot. Flies wide, not a play.
Like it. I like it. Like the movement.
Is that the offhand there, right?
Yeah, sure was. Sure was.
Don't see that too often. Meanwhile, Doldo, with 40 seconds to go, goes back far side. Hatfield with a touch, and it's swung near side for Prue. Seems like the Saints really packing it in defensively.
Yep, but they're pistoning in and out as you're supposed to do when you're in a zone like that, and they're getting right back.
Now Prue looks to shake.
But when you're
Slide comes over, finds Maxwell far side. Maxwell to his left, split dodge, shot and score.
Wow. All right.
Ryan Maxwell, the sophomore, fancy footwork there to navigate the defense, gives Derryfield their first lead with just inside of 14 seconds to go in this first quarter.
Gee, how many games have we done in the last 3 weeks where goals have been scored with seconds of the timer?
Right.
It's really amazing how these teams just continue to chug away. Maxwell, he fought every inch of square footage on that one, and his persistence pays off big time.
Meanwhile, Hatfield is knocked down. The Derryfield fans wanted a penalty. They do get a whistle, and the Cougars have it. Got to hurry. Just inside of 8 seconds. Up the field it goes to Maxwell. Looking, step down. No, he's got a man open, and there's the shot and score with .5 remaining.
Unbelievable.
That's Emerson Stover, the freshman.
Unbelievable.
He's wide open here on the near post, and he goes upstairs to make it 3-1 with a half-second remaining.
Unbelievable. The press on that was just perfect for the Cougars.
That's a tough one to swallow.
Yeah.
If you're Coach Singer and the Saints.
Yeah, for sure.
First quarter ends on that note. Derryfield 3 straight. They lead 3-1. The Saints look for an answer on the other side. Second quarter next. You are watching the 2025 NHIAA Boys Lacrosse Division II semifinals here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. We're broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS Network.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
A wild finish to that first quarter. Game tied at 1 most of the way until Derryfield comes up with 2 goals in the final 14 seconds. Ryan Maxwell And then Emerson Stover with a half-second left gives Derryfield a 2-goal lead as we head to this second quarter. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you. And a growing crowd here in Bedford. A nice turnout, neutral site here at Bulldog Stadium for this semifinal. Derryfield, undefeated, the top seed, looking to get back to the state championship game for the 4th year in a row. Whereas St. Thomas hopes to make their first trip in over a decade. But the Saints with work to do, down to, as we begin this second quarter.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the crowd getting fuller and fuller by the minute here, and I see a lot of Derryfield alum in the audience from over the years. That's good to see. Come back and support your team.
Hatfield had the inside track and does keep it away from 2 St. Thomas players as he wins another face-off for Derryfield. If I've got this right, Roger, 5 of the 6 early have gone to the Cougars.
Yeah, right on.
As a result, a 3-1 lead on the board. You saw 3 saves at the other end from goaltender Liam England in that first quarter, where his counterpart Jake Moore has made 1 stop so far for St. Thomas. The Saints, 12-5 during the regular season. They arrived via a 3-game win streak. Most recently, a 9-8 victory in the quarterfinal round over Hollis Brookline. Derryfield advanced after topping Oyster River 14-8. The winner gets Portsmouth on Saturday. The defending champs advanced earlier today with a blowout win over Winnicott 11-2. This one is sent back by Moore. Deep shot and a deep ricochet all the way to midfield where Estes is there for the Saints on the ground ball. Estes started the scoring for St. Thomas just 50 seconds in, although the Saints were kept off the board over the final 11-plus minutes of that first quarter.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that play right there by Jackson Estes is a reason why he's going to Bryant. His hustle there is what I love to see out of attackmen that are, patiently waiting for the ball to come their way off the defensive side of the field. And that ricochet came right up to him, and no one else but him reacted to that, and he ends up getting the ground ball and a possession for his team.
Meanwhile, Luke Daly uncovered now after the Derryfield defender Garrett Land falls down. Land recovers, and now we have a one-on-one behind the cage. Daly, the junior, going to tiptoe near side. Back out for DeTola. Skip pass. Far side, it's Morrison. To his left, no shooting space.
Oh!
That one, though.
Say what?
Frees up Finley DeTola. And that was a sniper shot over the left shoulder of England to make this a 1-goal game.
Wow. This is something you see, like, on weekends in the PLL. This is a fast cross-crease or cross-box pass, and he just goes low-high. Weak side. Hitting corners. Love it.
That was pretty.
That was a freaking rocket.
2 minutes in, second quarter, 3-2 Derryfield. DeTola's first goal. Now the Saints hope to keep the momentum going. Both players pinned down at the X, and Hatfield ultimately gets to it to help his own cause for Derryfield. So the Cougars continue to build an advantage at the face-off X.
Oh, nice dodge again.
Prue surrounded, and now the ball is out. The double team forces what could have been a takeaway, but instead Derryfield keeps it as Cerconi, the sophomore, ultimately fields the ground ball. Now Maxwell skips it near side. Prue, step down shot. It's sent away by Moore. The ball's going to slowly roll to the corner where Moore keeps it in play. Or Prue, rather, controls for Derryfield.
Yeah, did that go off the goalie?
I think so.
I think it went off the defender. Yeah, it went off the defender.
Okay.
Edgerly's taking a beating out there. That's his second one in between the shoulder blades. Kid's going to have all kinds of massive bruises.
I was about to say, that one may leave a mark.
Yeah.
So 2 saves unofficially so far for Moore. Meanwhile, 3 minutes in, second quarter, Derryfield another patient possession. Maxwell fighting off a pesky long pole defender. That's Cooper Copeland. And now back again behind the net is Prue. Edgerly right there on his hip. Derryfield cycles it back to the top for Maxwell. The Cougars 3 different goal scorers in that first quarter. Doldo, Maxwell, and Stover. Here's Prue. Draws a half slide there. Back pedals. Out to the wing for Cerconi. And now Maxwell again. Prue.
They are working the R.J. Prue wing.
He's looking to get some space here, but he loses the ball. It's still loose out in front. Near side, trying to find it is St. Thomas's Detola, but in the end we get a whistle, and I believe this one is going to stay with the Saints.
Yeah. I think Cerconi tripped him. Yeah, or not Cerconi.
Prue. And then Cerconi took a spill of his own. Physical start here in the first half. Just over 4 minutes gone by, second quarter. No penalties issued yet.
Thankfully.
And it's been a swift-moving game so far in real time.
Yeah, that first quarter went as fast as the Portsmouth one.
St. Thomas struck first, led 1-0. Derryfield followed with 3 straight goals, including 2 in the final 14 seconds of the first quarter. The only goal so far in the second quarter was a sniper shot a moment ago from Finley Detola for St. Thomas.
A 4 across attack here. Love this.
Here's Daly, far side. He's going to bring the captain, defender Logan Dyer, with him. Now Dyer going to press out. Daly, not much room to spare along that back line. Hooks up now with Detola, who is given room on the near side wing. Trying to come right side. Doldo right with him. A flag does fly.
Ooh, I don't know about this.
Meanwhile, Morrison, near side, Estes. Little two-man game. Back to Morrison. Looks. He's got 2 men behind the net. Daly. Back up top. Patience continues for St. Thomas. Morrison does have an opening. A bouncer goes wide, and that will bring the whistle. And the first penalty of the game set to be announced against Derryfield.
I think it's going to be Doldo, but I'm not sure what the call is.
Could have been a slash on the pass.
It's, the lead official's small.
Yeah, by the way,
not signal.
First time we hear from Steve Small. He's on the field with Steve Kirkpatrick, Tony Palmisano, and Bruce Kennison.
Yeah, so that is going to be Brady, and it is going to be a slash for a minute.
Yeah, I thought I saw it just before the flag was thrown.
Yep. All right.
So the EMO for St. Thomas, a chance to tie the game after trailing by 2 to begin the quarter. Little game of catch up top.
Oh, nice.
Tola, shot, score. It's Aceto. Kind of hiding along that far post, Aceto. Right place, right time, and very quickly, St. Thomas cashes in on the EMO to tie the game at 3.
Yes, they do, and this is a nice EMO play with a lot of rotation and movement. Finds him down low. Bang. Good look. When you're starting to see things through the box like that, you know you've opened up the defense, and in this particular case, you found the seam that is left by that guy in the 5-hole in the middle because he's been paying attention to some other movement coming through his area. That's a great play.
So 2 straight from St. Thomas, and we are back to square one, tied at 3, and we're back to even strength as well. After the EMO goal from Garrett Aceto. Meanwhile, a whistle here, and I believe a push against the Saints will give it to the Cougars.
Yeah, but they had, I don't know why you stopped play there. You had possession after the face-off.
Either way, Derryfield going to slow it down here on the near wing with one of their co-captains, R.J. Prue, a senior and a Union College commit. Midway through second quarter, Nick Anastas, Roger Howe. Both these teams vying for a chance to take on Portsmouth in Saturday's state championship game. That'll be played here in Bedford at 3 o'clock. Around the horn it goes. Both teams have played the long game offensively. Another extended possession in development here for Derryfield. Maxwell behind the net. He's got a man up top, step down, shot wide. A good look there for Garrett Land, but the junior couldn't connect.
Yeah, this is that 1-4 again with a cut and a crash. You just missed it.
Pretty good look.
Yeah.
But in the end, wide left. Coming up at 5 minutes to go, second quarter.
Okay. Same play. See how they run it with maybe Daldo out there on the wing this time.
Again, the Saints continue to stay in that zone. They seem content, Roger, with not venturing out too far on the press out.
No, and no reason to. I mean, Derryfield's playing an outside perimeter game, hoping to see something inside first that opens up the wing or the top here.
Possession nearly 90 seconds old.
What I don't like about this set is that the two guys on the crease are not rotating back and forth. They're not giving enough motion there to make the defense move.
Prue.
They come out
Maxwell. Skip pass. Sersoni. Face dodge. Takes a shot upstairs. And again, the Cougar crowd not happy. They wanted a flag.
No, nothing to flag there. Nothing to flag. Maybe a hold there, but
Sersoni escapes the grasp of Aiden Molt, and now a flag will fly.
That's Palmisano making the call.
It's our official Tony Palmisano.
Might get a hold here because he did hold him there, but I didn't see really anything to
prior to that
throw laundry about before.
Let's take another look.
We'll see.
First penalty against St. Thomas on the way. Sersoni surrounded there by Navy jerseys. See Molt continuing, and then
it's a hold.
Yeah, jams him up there pretty well. Captured that left arm with the stick.
So we're going to get.
So Molt in the box. First penalty against St. Thomas means the first EMO for Derryfield. The Saints cashed in on their lone EMO earlier in the second quarter. So let's see what Coach Hetler's got in mind here. As we approach 4 minutes to go until halftime. Maxwell, far side. Looks behind the cage, but instead elects to go back up top.
Look how wide they got the defense here. And
spacing paramount. Nobody open on the off-ball cut.
I don't know what they're doing.
At least not yet. Prue up top. He's given space. He says, forget about it. I'm going to pull the trigger from 15 meters out. A blazing shot from straight away for Brady Doldo. That's the senior's second goal. And he puts the Cougars back in front 4-3.
Yeah. Really.
And that was an EMO, right?
Well,
pretty close.
Trying to figure out whether or not they got the goal. I could not see the signal. But if that was a 30-second penalty, geez, he just rips it.
You could tell he was thinking about it for a moment.
Yeah.
A couple of steps down and then let loose a rocket for his second strike.
Yeah, it had to have been a minute penalty. And like I said, missed the call at the table. So
it was an EMO goal.
Yeah, has to be.
And it comes.
Oh, nice save.
Just inside of 4 minutes to go. Meanwhile, save number 4 for Liam England. So the sophomore has looked good in this first half for Derryfield. And now England ventures out of the cage to try and quarterback the clear. He's got the long pole, Alistair right to his right. The reverse field and eventually cross midfield with Prue, but they ran out of time.
Yeah.
A second too late. Violation and a good effort on the ride there from St. Thomas.
Yes, it was.
Now the Saints look for offense, trying to tie the game with inside of 3 minutes to go until halftime. Coming up at halftime, stats, highlights, analysis, full recap. Plus, we'll revisit that other semifinal here in Division II between Portsmouth and Winnicott. That is all coming up at halftime. Luke Daly behind the net. This one dropped by Acito. He does recover. Now back out to Daly. Saints have been patient. 2 of their 3 goals have come here in this second quarter. Tola, who has a sniper shot of his own.
Timeout?
Yep. Coach Singer wants to draw something up. First Saints timeout comes with 2:21 to go in this second quarter.
Yeah.
Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you. Been a busy week for us here in the media. We were in Exeter last night for the Division I boys semifinals. Tuesday night, we covered the girls Division I and Division III championships. And we are really going to dive headfirst into the deep end on Saturday as we bring you coverage of not only the Division I and Division II boys lacrosse state championship games, but also all 4 baseball state championship games. A quadruple header over at Delta Dental Stadium I'll be there for the first broadcast, and then Roger, you and I make our way back to Bulldog Stadium for the 3 o'clock Division II final. And that leads us to the Division I state championship at 7 o'clock in Exeter, as BG is set to take on Pinkerton.
Well, I love my paychecks at the end of these weeks when I got double time and all that. Just fun stuff, man.
That's what we build towards, right?
That's right. That's right.
Season.
Yep.
Championship Saturday, 4 baseball games, 2 lacrosse games via Friday Night Lights New Hampshire and the NFHS Network.
Yeah. Time and a half during the week, double time on the weekends. Yeah, bring it on.
All right. What does Coach Singer have in mind here, Roger?
Yeah, they got to, first off, they got to give themselves a break out there on defense and kind of let that thing settle down a little bit. But it almost looked like they were getting a little bit ahead of themselves with the anxiety on the offensive side, almost as if they were very uncomfortable they're only 1 goal down, but they were pushing the pace on there. And I think he wanted to settle them down here.
Well, he's going to set up Morrison off a curl. Pretty good screen there offered up by DeTola, but the shot from Morrison ends up wide. It is backed up, though, by the Saints' Ryan Resch.
Yeah.
Now Resch watches Estes go to work. He moves to his right, feeds Morrison on the far wing. He's met by Derryfield defender Cersoni. Yeah. And this one swallowed up. Not sure if that was a pass or an up-close shot. Either way, it ends up with England, and Derryfield has it.
Just mishandled in my mind. He tried to swing it through that zone, and there's a bunch of white jerseys there. Just mishandled.
England read it the whole way. The clear is completed by the Cougars' Garrett Land. As we approach 90 seconds to go until the break, Derryfield a chance to double their lead. Swung far side with room. It's Dyer. Now behind the cage, Maxwell. Back to Dyer and up top again for Land. Near side Prue. He's looked to get others involved so far. No goals yet for the senior.
No, but that's what you're trying to do, too. By isolating them out here in these wide sets, you try to draw that extra defender over, maybe for an early slide, and opens up the backside. And I think that's what they're trying to do with this zone. They're trying to find the seam through the box. Oh, nice,
Maxwell,
like that.
Backdoor. That one, a kick save by Moore.
And another one.
And then the rebound is swallowed up upstairs. Moore is going to give the ball right back to Derryfield, however.
So out and in is being called here, and that's exactly what the goaltender knew he was up against by the body motion here. After that second save, stepped out, stepped in just slightly.
Yep. Also completed a painful-looking split as well.
I was thinking the same thing, man.
4 saves now for Moore, including those back-to-back stops. Keeps this a 1-goal game. We're down to 20 seconds. We saw some heroics at the end of the first period. Derryfield 2 goals in the final 14 seconds. Looking for at least 1 here. We're down to 10 seconds. Maxwell trying to shake off the defender. Gavin Canty right on him. Now it's Daldo, left side.
Finds it.
Split dodge, but the ball is poked away, and that is going to bring us to halftime. A defensive contest here in Bedford. Undefeated Derryfield holding on to the slimmest of leads. Midway through, it's 4-3 Cougars over St. Thomas.
Yeah, exciting half of lacrosse, even though the score is kind of low for what I expected out of Derryfield especially. Man, Derryfield has been very patient on offense, and with that very, very tight zone, it'll be interesting to see in the second half just how the adjustments on the Derryfield side is going to be able to open up some more seams like you just saw there with RJ coming around the backside.
Coming up, stats, highlights, analysis, plus a review of the other semifinal game played here in Bedford between Portsmouth and Winnicott. All that next. You are watching the 2025 NHIAA Boys Lacrosse Division II semifinals right here on Friday Night Lights New Hampshire. We're broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS Network.
broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com. The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Halftime here in Bedford. Undefeated in top seed Derryfield with the slimmest of leads over number 5 St. Thomas. 4-3 our score as we get set for the third quarter. Nick Anastas along with Roger Howe. Well, both teams taking a very patient approach in that first half. St. Thomas got on the board early. Jackson Estes made it 1-0 in the first minute, but Doldo had a quick answer for Derryfield. That's Brady Doldo, had 2 goals in that first half. Ryan Maxwell gave the Cougars their first lead with just 14 seconds left in the first quarter, but just when you thought it was safe, think again. Emerson Stover lights the lamp with less than 1 second remaining, 0.5 on that first quarter clock. That gave Derryfield a 3-1 lead after 1. But then St. Thomas roared to life. Finley Detola on a sniper shot made it 3-2. The lone penalty against Derryfield in that first half hurt the Cougars minutes later as Garrett Acito scored an EMO goal to tie the game at 3. But then a St. Thomas penalty allowed Doldo to score his second goal on the EMO for Derryfield, and that is where we are, 4-3, as we get set, Roger, for this third quarter.
Yeah, and I got nothing, which is hard for me to say, that I got nothing about these two teams and what they need to correct other than St. Thomas has got to start picking up the slack on the faceoffs. Both teams are playing strong on both sides, and they're getting their chances. You hit it right on the head. Slow, methodical, unpredictable offenses coming out of these teams, and looking for a strong second half out of both of these.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Roger, but Jack Hatfield for Derryfield won every faceoff in that first half but one. He gets some help here from the wing as R.J. Prue controls yet again for Derryfield, but he's triple teamed at midfield, and the ball is once again loose.
Yeah, I got it at 7-2 for a total of 9. So give St. Thomas 1-1 for the first and second quarters.
Meanwhile, Maxwell turns the corner, heads for some real estate behind the net, and finds a man out in front. That's Sersoni, who scores the goal. We've got the Sersoni clan sitting right in front of us here in the press box. They're fired up, as are the rest of the Cougar fans, as Derryfield reestablishes their 2-goal lead from earlier. It's 5-3.
This is just good lacrosse. Good heads up. Look, telling you, this guy finds holes, and for some reason, it seems like the smaller players out there just get forgotten. And they're usually fast, well-skilled, pretty good high IQ on these guys. And, thankfully they've got smart IQ players playing with them that can find them out there because they know they're going to be there.
Meanwhile, Hatfield trying to hang on to his balance. He's knocked down from behind, and the officials do throw a flag.
Yeah, there's going to be a flag, and it's going to be a push, I think. Yeah, definitely a push.
Second penalty against St. Thomas on the way. An exciting opening minute here to the second half. A goal and then a penalty. All coming just 47 seconds since halftime.
Yeah. So that's going to be on number 4 for the Saints by the looks. No, we saw a 4, and now we got a 10.
Or is it Cooper Copeland, number 7?
Revolving door there at the box.
That's the long pole. That's the long pole. Copeland.
Number 7. Yep.
He's going to drop his right knee in the penalty box, and Derryfield is going to get their second EMO here.
Yeah, an 11-13 mark. Now watch this one move, folks. This is not going to be a static 1 minute like we saw before when they got their EMO goal. There should be a lot of movement here soon.
Just a 30-second penalty.
Yes, sir. Okay, got the movement. Watch Hatfield. Fogo out there on the wing. Decoy.
He's going to give it right back to the top, and now Doldo takes over. Back door, there's a man, shot and score, and it is
14.
Emerson Stover.
Yeah.
The freshman lights the lamp for the second time. A second EMO goal for Derryfield. Coach Hetler liking what's going on right now as Derryfield takes their largest lead, 6-3.
Yeah, how can you not like this EMO play where you leave Hatfield out there on the decoy and then you get movement low thinking that you're going to get it over to Daldo with a blast from up top like before, and they dink and dunk right inside. Great play.
Great off-ball movement, pass on time and on target. Meanwhile, Hatfield stays hot at the X for Derryfield. A clean win. As he jogs off to the field, this team has possession here with a minute and a half gone by third quarter.
Boy, great start here for the Cougars, coming right out of the gate.
Undefeated during the regular season. They won all 17 games. You throw in the win over Oyster River in the quarterfinals, and it's an 18-game win streak. They're hoping to return to the championship game for the 4th straight year.
Yeah.
Of course, earlier today, Portsmouth punched their ticket for the 5th straight time, as the defending champs had no problem with Winnicott. 11-2 was the final score there. And, Roger, since we're on the topic of final scores,
yes,
in Division III, we have that championship set as top seed and undefeated Cove Brown. They doubled up today on Hopkinton, 14-7. They will take on Plymouth as the Bobcats advanced over Campbell by a final of 7-6.
Yeah. Boy, I wish we could see those teams clash in that one up north, but give it to Cove Brown. I mean, not to take anything away from the other 3 teams in that division, but Bango right there, good save.
Good skip pass, but Moore was ready along that far pole, makes his 5th save.
But, Cove Brown goes undefeated too, so not just Derryfield in Division 2. I'm sorry, Cove Brown goes undefeated in Division 3, but, nothing but good things about that program that I'm hearing.
So it'll be the Bears and the Bobcats live from Laconia, and that game will be covered as well on the NFHS network. St. Thomas, work to do. Down 3 for the first time. Just 3 minutes in here, third quarter. As we're back to even strength, the Saints going to work. This is Luke Daly. Not much cooking there on the far wing, so the Saints hit the restart. And downhill comes Estes. He got the scoring started for St. Thomas in the first minute of the game. Behind the net is Cito. Back for Morrison.
Watch.
Thought about it.
Thought he had it.
Estes instead tries his luck from straight away, but that shot coming via the spin move is too wide. Good effort by Derryfield's Lucas Gaff, but St. Thomas had 2 players in the area. Meanwhile, Gaff, he lost his helmet, which means he has to come off the field.
I believe so. Yeah.
That allows Doldo to switch his stick. Of course, he's been using both the long pole and the short stick throughout this game. Now it's Dotola on the restart. Back out for Estes. Nearly 4 minutes in, third quarter. Estes to his left, being hounded by the Derryfield long pole, Dan Roy. Back to the near side for Morrison. given plenty of room. Going to jog his way towards the cage to his left. Sets up his teammate, Datola. That one set aside. Not sure if England got a piece of it or not. Either way, it stays in play, and it stays with St. Thomas.
Got it.
Now to the right, Estes.
Wow.
Winding shot coming on the move. That one behind the target, not a play.
Yeah. Didn't like the take with the release here. But, man, he had an open goal there if he had targeted that right.
Now the Saints with 3 players behind the net, including Estes, is going to backtrack. Looking for some runway here. To his right, comes off the pick. Picked up on the switch by the defender, Dyer. Dyer follows him to the wing.
Got it
right,
open.
Estes. Slide comes over, goes behind the back on a bouncing shot. Again, it's wide of the target, but again, it's backed up by his teammates, and St. Thomas will keep the action at this end.
Yeah, good slide there. A little more body maybe out of Garrett Land on that slide, but forced him to go to the behind the back.
Now it's Daly. Finds Estes up top, and the Saints once again hit the restart button here. 5 minutes in, third quarter. Lengthy possession for St. Thomas. Morrison on a bouncer. That one ends up in the nylon, and it's scooped out by England.
Yeah, that was one of the comments from our friend Joe Marshallina this week about Aiden Morrison being able to shoot right-handed. That was a right-handed shot that was off the mark, so he's definitely a better left-handed shooter.
Derryfield takes their time on the clear. They do get it across midfield in time. And now R.J. Prue gives way to Maxwell, and the Cougars are on the attack for the first time in several minutes as we at the midway point here, third quarter.
Yeah, watch them to camp out a little bit, give their defense a break.
Nursing a 3-goal lead here. 2 goals coming in the opening 2 minutes of the second half. The first even strength, the second in EMO.
Yeah, they came out hard and strong there. Oh, almost.
Sarsoni nearly lost it, but does clamp down and regain possession. Meanwhile, the sky's beginning to grow dark. A quarter past the 8 o'clock hour here locally. The lights are on and becoming more and more necessary.
And I've always found the lights here to be very kind to late night and darkness. Some other stadiums are starting to use these LED lights, and you look up in them once, and it looks like you're getting blinded. But very kind lights here at Bedford. They're strategically placed, I think. Yeah. Played under the lights here, coached under the lights here. Not a bad place to play.
No. All right, St. Thomas. No real pressure from the Derryfield ride. Ends up with a short pass via the far sideline, and now the Saints are back to work. As Daly is going to reverse direction on the far wing as we move inside with 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. It's been a quick moving game.
Yeah,
just about an hour real time so far.
Yeah, and not a lot of clears by either team needing to clear tonight. Long possessions, eating up a lot of clock, literally no transition.
Yeah.
A lot of set offense.
And I believe a grand total of 3 penalties combined.
3 penalties, and I got 6 for 6 on clears for
Datola's shot
flag
flies
in the air.
High as the flag flies. And let's see what this is about. A penalty on the way against Derryfield.
22.
That's Heath Mueller, the freshman. Also Dan Roy, seemingly limping his way to the Cougar bench. Is the penalty on Roy?
Yeah,
it
number
is.
12, yeah.
So Derryfield a man down. The Saints, who were able to cash in on their lone EMO in the first half, go back to work, but denied as Daly thought he had one. England says think again. It's a good outlet pass, and now Derryfield short-handed, hoping to make something happen on the break. It won't. Ball taken away by Datola. He's going to send his teammate Morrison scurrying to the corner. He tracks down the loose ball, and we move inside of 4 minutes to go in this third quarter. Saints still on the EMO. You can hear Coach Singer all the way from here, trying to direct traffic. Another feed out in front, shot wide. It is backed up, though, by Resch. DeTola swings it for Morrison. Extra pass. And now around the horn we go for Estes, who shoots and scores. Well, good patience there. As that EMO produces several shots, it's the final attempt that lights the lamp to make it 6-4.
Man, how can you not like the movement on this play? Just keep rotating until you find the seam, and boom, there it is. The defense cannot recover quickly enough across the top of the box. And I thought Morrison had a shot even earlier in that sequence, but man, great movement.
Blazing step down from a tough angle. Goal number 2 for Jackson Estes, the senior who is committed to Bryant University. And now, Roger, both teams are 2 for 2 on the EMO.
Yeah, a lot of yellow on my card right now.
Special teams playing a big role both ways. Meanwhile, Hatfield wins another face-off for Derryfield. He's had the advantage at X tonight. Coach Hetler says pump the brakes with his club up by 2.
If I'm not mistaken, when we did that early game against Portsmouth and we did some prep, we talked to Coach Hetler about his face-off specialist this year, having lost a real good guy last year. And he had told us about Maxwell perhaps doing double duty with Hatfield, and Hatfield's clearly won that job.
Yeah. And of course, Maxwell has contributed in
other ways.
Plenty of other ways, right?
Indeed he has.
Including a goal tonight in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Prue nearly lost his balance, but does maintain possession. Derryfield looking for spacing here as Doldo dances on the near wing. Cersoni drops it behind the cage, does recover, being hacked at by the long pole Rodriguez. And Rodriguez may have forced that errant pass. It's long, good hustle by Doldo with inches to spare, keeps it on this side of the 50.
Good body control by Brady there.
And while the clock continuing to tick as we head towards 2 minutes to play in this third quarter. Prue looking around. Saints continue to stay in this zone. Right, Roger? It's been the same look really both ways on defense.
Pretty much, yeah. They're being a little more aggressive on the ball right now.
As expected, trailing here in the second half.
Yeah. I think it's more about the set that Derryfield's running with this 1-4.
Okay.
Because you're spreading out and you got wings and you got top midfield, like right here. Now you got to piston up real quick, get out, recoup. The recover. Look at the recovery.
Didn't come out quite clean. Moore
No.
got a piece, but Derryfield gets to the ground ball.
Yeah, and this is what they've been doing pretty well. Despite being down, a couple of goals here, the Saints' defense has been pretty disciplined when it comes to getting up, putting pressure, and then, getting back to where their design spot is supposed to be. That's it.
Go.
That's the recovery.
And
in the head. Should have been called.
Loose ball, far side. St. Thomas's Gavin Canty is in the mix. Canty had it, but the ball betrays him out of bounds, and Derryfield will stay at this end.
Yeah. So even when a seam is created and you got a ball handler ready to step down or maybe even make a pass inside, that collapse adjacent is very important in these zones. You want to take care of that zone and cover the backside of the zone that might be vacated, and they're doing a real good job of that.
Final 45 seconds, third quarter. Doldo was led the way for Derryfield with 2 goals, gives it away. And now does receive the pass here, goal line extended. Going to find Maxwell behind the cage.
You can see a little bit of a modification of this zone, too, the way Derryfield changed their set. Brought up a guy high on the crease.
Some adjustments in real time.
Right? Yeah, and then the Saints modified the zone a little bit. They went 4 across.
Down to 20 seconds. Submarine shot there, sails into the night sky out of the stick of Prue.
Yeah, and another thing you like to see as an offensive-minded coach is get them to fall asleep. That zone starts to fall asleep a little bit. You can fire off a shot when the goalie's not looking.
Maxwell from behind cage sets up Cersoni, but Moore reads it the whole way for his 7th save. Down to 2 seconds, down to 1, and that brings us to the end of the third quarter. Derryfield adds to their lead. 6-4 after 3. Do the Cougars stay undefeated and head back to the championship? Or does St. Thomas rally back in the fourth quarter to punch their ticket for the first time in 13 years? We find out next. Fourth quarter on the other side. You are watching the 2025 NHIAA Boys Lacrosse Division II semifinals. right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. We're broadcasting in conjunction with the NFHS Network.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Start of the fourth quarter here in Bedford. Derryfield nursing a 2-goal lead, 6-4, as the Cougars hope to stay undefeated and head to Saturday's championship for the 4th straight season. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you. St. Thomas up to the challenge. They've hung around so far, Roger. And with 12 minutes remaining, well, it's anybody's guess as we head down the stretch.
Yeah, should be a really good, exciting finish here to have this last 12 minutes for both of these teams to see the other side, so to speak. But very impressed on that last possession by Derryfield and how the Saints really kept them at bay throughout that entire sequence.
That defense stayed disciplined.
Indeed.
And as a result, it's still a 2-goal game. 6-4, Jack Hatfield battling with Davin Pintorelli.
He is just
and Hatfield had it, but lost it. Took a rear check there from, well, two different St. Thomas defenders, as Hatfield was swarmed, and in the end, the Saints have possession.
Yeah, you're going to have to give that to Hatfield because they called possession on it, which allowed the attackman to release, which is why they got the ball back.
The winner goes on to face Portsmouth. Earlier today, the Clippers knocked off Winnicunnet by a score of 11-2. Portsmouth with a chance to make it 4 out of 5.
This is the guy they need in the offense right now. Whoa.
Skip pass. Totola had to leave his feet to pull it in. Now Totola to the right, being hounded by Doldo. And around the horn again it goes. Behind the cage is Cito.
He's got room.
Estes fakes right, goes left, but that shot is wide.
Needs a left hand there.
Looks like they were forcing him left.
Yeah, that's why he needs a left hand.
Yeah.
Exactly. Defense covered up, and that's all he had, and he didn't get a good take.
Estes led the way for St. Thomas with 2 goals. The other 2 for the Saints, scored by Acito and Totola. Derryfield, been led by Brady Doldo and the youngster Emerson Stover, 2 goals apiece.
No. Oh, you can't do that.
That's swallowed up. Prue, nice read there defensively, finds Dyer at midfield, and Derryfield has numbers. It's a 4-on-3. Maxwell decides to pull it out. As Coach Hetler, I think, wants to run a little bit of clock here. Nearly 2 minutes gone by, fourth quarter.
Well, not only that, you got to give the defense a little bit of a break there on that semi-long possession by the Saints.
Yeah, nearly a minute and a half.
But, yeah, you don't want to – I mean, when you're down by a couple of goals this late, you can't be shooting from 15 yards out. Not with the way England's playing right now.
Well, both teams unofficially have seen pretty good goaltender play. I've got England for 6 stops and more with 7. Meanwhile, Prue, 2-man game near side wing, curls straight up, thought about it. Instead, Mueller finds Maxwell, and now Maxwell looks for room behind the cage. 2 players behind that, Cersoni, Maxwell. Rodriguez comes over on the switch. Pass for Mueller up top as Derryfield continues to test the fences. Now one-on-one here between Prue and the defender Daly, who backs off. Mueller behind the cage. Now Maxwell trying to get away from Totola. Start and stop to his right. Long pole off the switch is Copeland. Forces him to give it back up. Derryfield in no hurry. Leading by 2. Cougars have played with the lead most of the way. They've had the advantage at the face-off X, and they led after the first quarter. They led at halftime, and they still lead here early in the fourth by a score of 6-4. Meanwhile, Sorsoni lost it out in front. It's covered up by Moore, and St. Thomas comes away with the ball after getting the stop.
Yeah, that time they collapsed nicely on Dominic, snuffed him right out, get the ball back. Need a good clear here.
Moore helping out on the clear effort. Copeland takes over the long pole. Running out of time. Does hook up with Detola in the end. He just beat the clock. Speaking of the clock, already nearly 4 minutes gone by, fourth quarter. St. Thomas hoping to cut the Derryfield lead in half.
There it is. There it is.
Morrison.
You will not shoot the...
Nope.
Oh.
May have been a defender there in the shooting lane. We've seen that a few times tonight where the defender has knocked down the shot.
I've seen him be very hesitant to shoot, though.
Estes, he's not hesitant. That one had some speed on it, but ends up wide. We stay 6-4, and we stay at this end with St. Thomas.
Yeah, Aiden needs to have a little more confidence in his shot. He was 10 yards out on that, and Estes comes, and he just does what Aiden didn't do. There's
Detola.
Yeah.
Shot and score.
Sure enough.
Must have heard you, Roger.
Yeah, sure enough.
He goes top shelf, and we've got a one-score game.
Sure enough. And that was a beautiful feed there by Aceto.
So 2 straight dating back to the third quarter. Detola scores his second goal. Estes credited with the assist.
I don't think so. 12 is that, did
12 is Aceto.
12 is Aceto. No, they got the assist wrong. So good goal and good offensive prowess there, and a good patience by them as well.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Hatfield wins it for Derryfield. Maxwell is knocked down, a clean hit. The ball is out. And St. Thomas hoping to come the other way. This is Canty. Hooks up with Estes, and now the senior says, slow it down. We've got a chance to tie the game with nearly 5 minutes gone by.
Absolutely. Coach Singer is over there losing his mind if they were to press that. And they made a great defensive stop after that.
Speaking of defensive stops, the Saints defense has kept Derryfield off the board for now nearly 15 minutes of game action. Their last goal came at the 10:44 mark, an EMO strike from Stover.
Yeah.
10:44 mark of the third quarter.
Yeah, because Derryfield got off to a quick start there. Here's Morrison.
Yep, trying to navigate between 3 white defenders, white jersey defenders.
Isolation.
Back up top, Detola to his right, trying to get some space. Shot does go off, but is wide to the left.
No, I guess the word from the bench is fire away, boys, because that is what they've been doing. Not indiscriminately, but they are certainly trying to put the pressure on the goaltending and the defense of Derryfield.
Seems like, Roger, we don't have those numbers available, but in my mind at least, Derryfield won the time of possession battle in the first half, but in the second half it has gone to St. Thomas.
Yeah, especially late.
The goalie comes out, good effort, but the foot race is won by St. Thomas's Ryan Resch. So we'll stay at this end as we near the midway point of this fourth quarter.
Yeah, seeing a little more energy out of the Saints here in this fourth quarter.
Hoping to extend their season and hand Derryfield their first loss of the year. Last time the Saints were in the Division II state championship game was 2012 when they were runners-up under head coach Barry Katz. Detola going to circle all the way back around near side. Not quite ready for that pass was Resch. Luckily for him, Estes is there to back it up, and St. Thomas hits the reset button.
Almost looks like that Levi Weaver goal from last night where he went almost 2 full rotations around the goal before he ended up scoring on that.
Yeah, the freshman helped Pinkerton into a Division I semifinal win over Exeter.
Oh, bad play here.
Estes throws it up. Nobody home on the other side, but the ground ball does stay with Daly. And now Coach Singer is going to call for time.
I'm good for that.
First time out either way comes with 5:18 to go in this fourth quarter. Saints trying to tie this game at 6.
Yeah, it started to get a little sloppy there, and you got the 2, and we're getting down to that 5-minute mark in this quarter. this is a really good timeout. This is where you settle things down. Give these guys a break, too, because, even though the Derryfield defense is probably getting a little bit tired, your offense is starting to get a little bit tired, too. So, put a play in. Make sure you got backups there and try and retrieve this ball. If it goes anywhere towards out of bounds or you get a shot off, and you got to be beating the goaltender, because England certainly made a stretch there. But you want to keep the ball on this half of the field if you're the Saints right now.
Earlier today, Portsmouth beat Winnicott 11-2 to advance to the state championship game. They get the winner of this game on Saturday. Nick and Astis, Roger Howe here with you. This is the second meeting of the season between the Cougars and Saints, and fittingly, that was a one-goal game back on May the 21st. As Derryfield won in Dover by a final score of 11-10. And seemingly destiny for us to have a tight game here down the stretch as we move toward the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, lots of fun here, and we'll just see what Coach Singer has drawn up on the old dry erase board over there.
And certainly the Saints are used to this kind of a situation. 7 one-goal games already played by St. Thomas, including their quarterfinal win over Hollis Brookline. That was a 9-8 final.
Yeah, I got a feeling that Coach Singer does not leave a lot of timeouts in the bank in any of the games that he coaches, and that's good. That's good.
Out of the timeout, St. Thomas with possession. They trail 6-5. They have scored 2 goals in a row. Estes on the EMO late in the third quarter, and Dotolo a moment ago. Here is Estes. 2 goals to his credit. Morrison trying to shake and bake to his right. Fires. Nope. Backed up, though.
Good backup.
It was Resch in the right spot. Now Dotola jammed up.
Oh, yes.
Going to fire anyway, despite 2 defenders in the area. That one is wide as well.
Yeah, I kind of like what Dotola did there. He had 2 guys on him and still fired away.
Well, you mentioned the Saints. Their willingness to pull the trigger seemingly has increased as the game has gone on.
Yeah, and it puts the defense on their heels. It makes them commit sooner, make mistakes sooner.
Morrison with plenty of room. That one flies a little high. Again, it's backed up by Daly.
Yeah, I think Morrison has just got to dial in a little bit here.
What are we seeing defensively?
Just good old man here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever recall a time where Derryfield was in zone. They may have done it sporadically just to change things up at a certain period of time.
But they are giving a little bit of room here on the perimeter.
Yeah, don't want to make a mistake. Don't want to make that mistake outside and give guys like SD. Oh!
Spin move by Daly. Good slide to jam him up at the cage. Yeah. And then a foot race is won by Derryfield.
Yeah, it's just a mishap on the shot, kind of a dribbler over the net where no one was watching. And Derryfield gets it back.
Finally.
Yeah.
That possession over 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
Now England helping out on the clear. A rainbow pass taken in by the long pole, Alistair Wright, who then hooks up with Roy. Roy finds Prue, and Prue finds a little bit of room here on the near side wing. We are inside of 4 minutes. The clock becoming a factor here in Bedford. Derryfield clinging to a 6-5 lead, hoping to double their advantage here on this trip. Garrett Land going to slow things down. He looks over at the home sideline and gets the signal from Coach Hetler, who is crouched down near midfield. Behind the cage it goes. This is Maxwell for Cersoni. Goal line extended. Back to Maxwell behind the cage. Inside of 3.5 to go. Prue takes over behind the net. Cersoni given room. Back up top. Derryfield again in no hurry here. A little game of catch. Doldo takes over straight away.
Huge possession here for both teams.
Copeland hacking away defensively with that long pole. And now Prue. Behind the net with Maxwell. Maxwell on the far side. And around the horn we go inside of 3 minutes. Land. Finds Prue. Somebody's open. It's Doldo. Thought about it. Now will release.
Oh, it comes back. Yeah, comes back.
Yep, Moore heads up play from the cage to win the foot race. St. Thomas gets the stop they were hoping for with 2:40 to go. Long outlet for Dotola. One man to beat at midfield, gets around Cersoni. Saints hoping to tie the game.
Timeout. No, they're going to hold here for a little bit.
Just one timeout remaining for Coach Singer.
Yeah.
Not going to use it yet. 2:25 and counting.
I definitely was hoping he was not using it there.
Meanwhile, Dotola perhaps looking for guidance from Coach Singer. Well, there's 4 players outside of the box here.
This is the press they ran earlier, the 4 across offensive press. Come down.
Now they'll try their luck behind the cage. Cycled near side wing, Estes. Dangerous player, the senior, to his right.
There it is.
Tries to get away, reverses direction. Excellent defensive effort by Lucas Gaff, prevents the shot.
Here comes Morrison.
He takes over, fires, knocked away by England. Save number 7 for the sophomore goaltender. Derryfield, however, cannot capture the ground ball as Dutola is there for the Saints. Final 100 seconds, fourth quarter. Estes, step down, shot, swallowed up. Ground ball. Prue trying to swim upstream for Derryfield. Key save there for England. Derryfield gets the clear. Prue still has it, but a back check by Copeland frees up the ball, and now the Saints, I believe, are going to come the other way. St. Thomas, yep, they're going to use their second and final timeout. A great back check there by Copeland. He slaps high five with his teammate Acito as the Saints look to draw something up with $1:19 to go in this fourth quarter.
Wow, that's an exciting sequence of events right there. And, boy, I'll tell you what, if Prue hadn't lost the ball there on that sideline, that might have been game over.
As we get a look at that save,
that's huge.
England had 2 stops on that possession.
He sure did. He sure did. Let's watch this sequence here.
As Prue looks to clear, comes over midfield, but St. Thomas doesn't quit. You see the check there from Copeland.
Good
and he goes actually, I thought it was a back check. No, he goes up and under.
He does.
To poke that one away.
Listen,
ultimately, it's St. Thomas possession.
That's as textbook as you can get when you can put up the push on the hips of the ball carrier, and at the same time as you release the pressure, you can come across the body with your stick. That sequence is something that is coached to a youngster to get it right.
Tough to do without being flagged for a penalty.
Well, you look at the sequence, though. He did it right. He did it right.
Ball was out, and then he kept that stick up.
And he brought the player's arm up. He chicken winged him, but he didn't. There was a release on his stick. If he had held the gate there, as we call it, while the arm came up, he could have been called for a hold after the fact. Ball's on the ground, though. Big difference.
Right.
Big difference.
Nick Anastas, Roger Howe, glad you could join us. It's been a productive day for us here in the media. Earlier today, we saw Portsmouth handle their business with a wire-to-wire win over their Seacoast rival Winnicott. 11-2 was the final. The Clippers await the winner of this game between St. Thomas and Derryfield in Saturday's Division II state championship.
Here we go.
Derryfield led by as many as 3 about midway through that third quarter, but the St. Thomas defense has come alive and allowed the offense to post back-to-back scores to make it a 1-goal game again, and that is where we are with 1:19 remaining. Out of the timeout, St. Thomas. Still need to clear out of their own end. Who's going to start with the ball?
I guess we must have got
Oh, it's Derryfield ball?
We got it. I thought for sure that was going the other way.
Oh, so it was Coach Hetler who called the timeout.
Must have.
Before the ball came out. So we've got a different scenario here. Now the clock moving with 1:10 remaining. St. Thomas going to send a second defender in the area. Prue slips away from both. And now Sersoni is going to dance far side. We're inside the final minute. Sersoni back to Prue. Game of keep away here for Derryfield. Split dodge. Goaltender was out of the net for a moment.
Yeah, 10-man
now
there.
Sersoni thinking about it. Will shoot and score, and Derryfield adds an insurance goal with 45 seconds remaining. Second goal for Dominic Sersoni. Seemed like the youngster wasn't sure if he should try that one, but then thought better of it and cashes in to make it 7-5.
Yeah, I mean, you're right there on the doorstep. How do you not put it in the back of the net there? But, yeah, clearly, boy, Coach Hetler, for the second time in the game, has called a key timeout on the farthest part of the field you can get, except if you're in the corner. But give it to Dom here. Yeah.
Able to lean around the defender.
Yeah.
Hatfield with another face-off win for Derryfield. Skip pass for Dyer. And now we do get a whistle. And that's the second Derryfield timeout. You're right, with 36 seconds to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. What a sequence of events there. We were Yeah, we were thinking that was going to be a fight to the finish there, and the Saints had an opportunity. So, yeah, how a turn of events can just change your whole outlook on things. Now we're looking at a big Derryfield win here. It's going to be very tough.
36 seconds. We've seen wilder things before, Roger, including tonight. 2 Cougar goals in 14 seconds, the final 14 seconds of the first quarter. So not over yet.
No.
Coach Singer certainly hoping his team can pull off what would be an improbable comeback here with 36 ticks to go.
In fact, I would, as you said that, I'm thinking of the last 5 games that I've seen, including the Merrimack Exeter game, BG Bedford, where BG scored one at the end of the second quarter, if you recall.
2 seconds left.
2 seconds left. All right, we've seen that more often than not in the last 5 or 6 games.
Yeah. Something's in the air here in June, I guess.
Yeah, must be the weather. Got to be the weather.
Point is, don't tune out just yet.
Yeah.
But Derryfield does have possession here and is in a great spot to close this thing out.
What did they say back in the 60s and 70s? Don't turn that dial, folks. Stay right here. Don't even get up and get a sandwich or a soda. You gotta play it to the end here.
Plus, we've got a little post-game coverage for you as well. Full recap, stats, highlights, analysis, all the good stuff coming up. All right, 7-5. Prue ready for the restart. Clock ticking. Estes dancing with him here on the near side wing. Prue trying to shove him off. Copeland comes over. And Prue took a shot upstairs. The officials don't call it. Ground ball goes to Maxwell. He's trying to swim to shore. We're down inside of 20 seconds. Now down to 15. Maxwell finally loses possession. Ball is out. Body's on the ground. Clock down to 10 seconds. Dyer has it for Derryfield. Takes one shot, takes a second. A flag comes out inside of 5 seconds. Another penalty marker will finally bring the action to a stop with 2.4 seconds remaining. Derryfield starting to celebrate with their fans here in Bedford. Just seconds away from a 4th straight trip to the Division II championship game. But first, the penalty will be recorded here. Copeland, who gave max effort tonight, seemingly disappointed as he goes down on both knees in the back of the penalty box.
And it looks like they're going to give him 2 slashing calls on this.
Game over. Derryfield wins their 19th straight. Coach Hetler will have a chance for another championship ring on Saturday, where it's Derryfield and Portsmouth once again. 7-5 the final here. Great effort by St. Thomas. As Coach Scott Singer will say goodbye to 6 graduating seniors, but overall a tremendous effort. And a great season for St. Thomas, a 12-5 regular season mark, a quarterfinal win over Hollis Brookline, but in the end, they fall short in the semifinals. 7-5 Derryfield with the win. It'll be Cougars and Clippers, 3 o'clock on Saturday.
Well, you can only look at the scorecard, at least from my standpoint, and see that the big difference in this game, which I did not expect, was faceoffs. Hatfield was dominant at the X and was able to control that ball for Derryfield on every single possession. And when you can translate that into low volume turnovers and very low clears, we saw that for both sides. That just controls the game, and this is the result you're going to see. You're going to see a very low scoring game, and this should have been a 1-goal game actually. Until Cerconi got that last goal there. But just very impressive to see just how disciplined both teams were tonight. They really didn't get out of control until the very end there.
Balanced effort for Derryfield. Yeah. 2 goals apiece for Doldo, Cerconi, and Stover. 8 saves unofficially in cage for Liam England.
Yeah.
And for St. Thomas, they were led by Jackson Estes. He scored twice, as did Finley Detola, the 2 seniors calling it a career here at St. Thomas, playing in their final game. And a good effort in goal as well from sophomore netminder Jake Moore. I had him for 7 stops in the end. Roger, your final thoughts on what we saw here tonight, not just in this game, but in the Portsmouth win as well. And give us your thoughts in advance of Saturday's final between Portsmouth and Derryfield.
Exciting already to think about what that game is going to look like. It's always been a battle, and it's always been great games between those two. Different styles this time. And again, I want to see what Biddle can do with Hatfield and vice versa, and see how that works out, because that certainly was a thing that did not work well for Portsmouth today, because Mitchell did dominate. But when we see that game come up on Saturday, hopefully the weather will be nice, and that won't be a factor in that game. We're looking at rain perhaps, but should be exciting.
I want to thank Corey Parker, the athletic director here at Bedford High School, and his staff for hosting us, our friends over at the NHIAA, including President Jeff Collins. And, of course, our partnership continues with the NFHS Network, thanks in part to Don Boyle. Our videographers tonight, another great job. Kat Doyle upstairs, Matt Beals down in the trench. The whole thing orchestrated flawlessly by the man behind the curtain, the wizard of replay, our director, Ben Beals, back in the Beals Insurance Studios. And, of course, the unseen hand is the big man in the big chair, executive producer Steve Beals. For my partner, Roger Howell, my name is Nick Anastas saying so long. Final score, final time, Derryfield 7, St. Thomas 5. This has been a presentation of the 2025 NHIAA Boys Lacrosse Division II Semifinals here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, broadcasted in conjunction with the NFHS Network.